Is Echoes of Aincrad finally the Sword Art Online game we've been asking for? If you weren't aware, Bandai Namco is publishing another Sword Art Online game. But interestingly enough, they aren't using the Sword Art Online IP directly, but they are using everything adjacent to it: the world, the UI, and even the atmosphere. Well, for over a decade now, Bandai Namco has been dropping Sword Art games. Some good, but most have been mediocre. As someone who has been a Sword Art Online fan since the anime first dropped, I had been a sucker for any game that was related to the IP. But the recent releases started to feel like games that existed to fulfill contractual obligations. And more importantly, all those games felt like anime games since they mainly focused on Kirito and friends. So what I really wanted in the Sword Art games weren't the anime characters, but the world of Aincrad itself. So when Bandai released the demo of Echoes of Aincrad, I was so surprised by how similar it looked to the world of Sword Art Online. From the art style to even the user interface, which has a funny little Easter egg where you can't log out. So, that's cool. Okay, now let's get into the game. First off, since this is a demo, there are a lot of features not included. Mainly the character customization. You start out as a pre-made character. Because of that, I don't know how many customization features are available, but surely they didn't drop the ball on this. I feel like this is a simple feature that is pretty common in the other Sword Art games. Now, for the combat. You have two basic attacks: light attacks and heavy attacks that reduce enemy shields. Then you have your shield that blocks attacks but can also parry attacks. My biggest issue with this is that the parry window seems very small, but that also gives a feeling of rewarded when you finally successfully parry. Or it could just be my old age. Who knows? There is also dodging, which is for unguardable attacks or AoEs. They also added a system that I don't believe other Sword Art games have, and it's a stamina system. I'm on the fence with this. Because of this, the game gives off the feeling of something like a Souls-like game. And this game isn't exactly Souls-like, but it feels like it's a Souls-light. Like when you play it, you'll see. The stamina system, I lean more towards I like it, because you can't just spam attacks or block and dodge forever. If you're liking this video so far, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let's continue. There's also a nice little touch they added to boss fights that anyone who watched the anime would immediately notice and appreciate. When the boss's HP reaches a certain threshold, you can remove parts of their limbs. For example, in the intro, I fought the boss, and I got to the point where it was crawling because it had lost both of its legs. That's a sick feature, isn't it? And companion NPCs have made a return. But there's one specific aspect of it that I hate. When you use the companion skill, there is a cutscene, or animation sequence, whatever you want to call it, which is cool at first, but gets really annoying mid-combat. It kills the whole flow of any fight, and I hope they remove it when the game actually launches. The open world exploration of Aincrad has a nice balance of big, but not too big, where you notice how empty it is, because it's pretty empty. The town did feel and look empty, but I'll chalk that up to the lore, that the game is set during the beta test before the Sword Art Online main story began. So technically there aren't many players playing the game. But the intro dungeon, I'm not gonna give the lore excuse for. That place is too long for the amount of enemies you come across. I think I spent around 45 minutes in there just running through, and it's very linear, so that doesn't make it any more fun or interesting. For me, I think Final Fantasy XIV dungeons are the best example of how a dungeon that gives that feeling of an MMO, like Sword Art Online, but it doesn't feel completely empty and you're just walking around. Overall, I think Echoes of Aincrad has great potential if it was released 10 years ago. And I say that mainly because of the price tag of $70 for the base game. That's not including the deluxe edition and the ultimate edition and whatever edition. Nothing from the demo makes me feel that the price would be worth it. And I know some of you may be thinking, well, it's a demo, so there is more to be expected. But look at it this way. There are at least several gacha games like Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves that are free to play, and I could say they are just better games at their base. Imagine if Genshin Impact didn't have a gacha system, and think to yourself, if this game is any better than that. I don't think it is, but I'm open to being wrong. However, if you're a fan of the Sword Art Online IP, I think you should look and see if they have a roadmap on what content they plan on dropping. If you're not into the IP, just wait for a sale. At least by then, we'll know if it's a good game or just another Sword Art Online game trying to cash in on the nostalgia. But let me know what you think about Echoes of Aincrad in the comments down below, and be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.